Okay, it does say that we are live. It is. Looks like it's picking up on YouTube. Yeah, cool. It's working. Great. So hey everybody. Anybody who happens to be in chat already, thanks for coming and hanging out. Anybody else in the future that catches this VOD, this was kind of an impromptu thing. Me and Gator had a discussion earlier. Well, earlier in the week we were talking about the particular topic that we're going to be talking about, and then today he was like, "Well, this is something that I think we should talk more about." And then he's like, "Hey, we could just stream it." And I was like, "Hey, I just so happen to have not actually figured out a stream topic or didn't have a game set up for today's stream." So I was like, hell yeah, that works. Let's do it. So we are going to chill and talk about some stuff that has to do with CPDH in this particular meeting. But there's a couple cards that I'll probably touch on because they are relevant in CEDH. But that's like my limited experience with this whole thing. So this was kind of Gator's idea, so I am, outside of this intro, going to kind of let him talk about what it is that we're going to be talking about, introduce the whole thing, and then we can get into the more nitty-gritty. Afterwards, we're going to play some community games with some of our friends and community members so that are already lined up and ready and waiting. So I'll have to do some flip-flopping of stuff in between, but apologies for not being completely professional this time. I did have to swap and throw everything together in a couple, not even like an hour. So we're doing the best we can with having to try and figure this out at the last minute. But I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope we can give you some information that is useful to you, and then hang out for some games where we might actually use some of the cards that we talk about. Gator's got to sell me on it first.
Yeah, definitely, man. Well, no, I appreciate everything. So this is a topic that honestly I don't even want to take any of the credit for. So the reason that I even am bringing this up, right? Like, let me be honest with you, just from the get-go, right? I could not stand the sticker mechanic. I just didn't want to. I just ignored it, right? I believe a lot of us older Magic players were kind of like, no, I don't want to learn it. I don't want to know about it. Just let it go. It just no thank you, right? And that was kind of like a trend I saw with a few of us that have been playing for a long time. And then my mind completely changed when I was at RIW and I played against the individual by the name of David. He's actually Ankylosaur here on Discord and stuff. I know you've played actually quite a few games with him. Mm-hmm. And he ended up putting the sticker cards into play against me during our last match. And I was like, wow, what in the hell is happening right now? And he was just like, oh, well, this is going to do this. And if this blinks and this happens and I make 2 foods. And I'm like, dude, I've literally never read any of these sticker cards. Can you please tell me what they do? And he's like, oh, this and this and this. And I'm like, yeah, this is so far out my wheelhouse. But he took a deck that had issues with certain aspects of the game, and then he added these sticker cards. And these sticker cards put that deck over the top. And by his example, I believe other decks can incorporate the same thing. And with the deck that I think you are doing a fantastic job with here in the past few weeks, just kind of hammering into people's throats here recently, I think if we incorporate these sticker cards into your deck, it's going to put you right over that edge and give you the win conditions that you have and need.
So my backstory a little bit with stickers is that that unset got Unfinity. That's been what, a year now? I think it came out last Christmas, something like that. I don't recall exactly when it came out, but it's been a minute.
It's so many.
When it came out, they said, okay, there's going to be cards in this that were legal in Eternal Formats. Commander is one of those. So we all, the community kind of collectively groaned and said, nobody asked for this. We don't want unset, garbage, funky mechanics in our formats. I can see in casual players maybe not caring as much, but the people like me and others that I play with, we were not excited. And then, time went by. And then somebody was like, hey, this blank goblin that you can add a name to is actually almost as good as a Dockside. Granted, Dockside has a higher ceiling, but in most cases, Dockside is getting you an average of like 4 to 6 treasures on a CTB. So that particular thing can get you up to 6 red mana. Granted, red mana is not as good as treasures, but in particular lists that want to have a big ritual like that, it's still pretty good, and I've actually included it in a list. And the only reason I knew how it worked is because somebody came to me and said, here you go. These are the stickers that make the most mana. Just put these into your thing, and then you get them random at the beginning of the thing, and then, based on those, if and when you play that card, you get to put a name on it, and then it gives you that much mana based on, like, how many syllables or consonants or vowels or whatever the case was. And then also Saw in Half, thank you, Kunks, I see you in chat. Saw in Half and Clown Car to a lesser extent. I don't really think Clown Car, I think people are cutting that one, but Saw in Half has definitely seen a lot of play and is very good. But it also was kind of designed in the sense that it's not this sticker bullshit, it's not attraction bullshit, it's not gizmos and wacky stuff, it's just straightforward. This thing copies something basically, or gives you 2 copies of it, so it made sense. So yeah, for the rest of it, it was like, I don't want to learn all those gobbledygook mechanics, just like you said. So that was kind of the extent of what I've seen with it. I've played the Goblin, I've played Saw in Half. I didn't even think to look at commons that had this kind of stuff, because I wouldn't have even thought that any of them would be good enough. But you brought up one in particular, and I'm sure maybe you have some more that we can look up here, show on the screen. And what do you know the name of the one that you originally told me? It was like a bird or something.
Well, oh, you're talking about the individual cards themselves.
Yeah, before we get to the actual breakdown of what stickers are out there, because that's kind of the meat and potatoes of this, I thought we could talk about at least the card that you were recommending to me for the deck that I've been working on recently.
So Chicken Trope is one of them. So if you search that one up.
Okay.
I know it's ridiculous.
Oh, I hate that I have the chroma key on. That makes that look really ugly.
Also too, I don't know if you want to put in the chat your actual deck list, so people could kind of follow along of what we're actually and why we're looking for cards for that deck specifically.
Sure. Let me do that real quick. So deck list is here if you guys want to follow along. Which is this Sivirus Cloaked Hermit. This isn't so bad with the chroma key here. I don't want to change it because we're going to play after this, and I'm probably going to need the chroma key on. So I apologize for that, but maybe if I... Nope, that doesn't make it any better. Crap. Okay, I'm probably going to have to turn it off. I can fix it. That's fine. Okay, well, anyhow, you can read this off while I mess with stuff.
Yeah, of course, definitely. So Chicken Trope, it's just a 2-mana bird, 1 colorless and 1 green. It's a bird performer, 2/2. It has Ward 2, and then it says, when Chicken Trope enters the battlefield, you get 1 ticket. Then you may put a sticker on a non-land permanent you own. So essentially what this card can or cannot do is that when you get a sticker, you're able to put 1 ticket and invest it into that sticker. But the big key that this card does, especially in a deck like Sivirus, is that you're able to actively loop this card. I know that makes no sense to most people, but essentially this card, you can unearth this card, and it has Ward. This card could, it's just, you could throw this card under the bus. You can unearth it if they put it in the graveyard. You could sacrifice it with a Dread Return, because apparently we have that card now, right?
Yeah, that's
like this is just an easily sacrificed creature, because we want to put into the graveyard to continue to Omen of the Dead this creature, right? We could just tortured existence this creature. I mean, this creature has Ward 2 naturally, so people aren't going to be hitting this with any of the exile effects in our format, right? Like, Angelic Purge is not hitting this. This is like the most mediocre card to ever hit with a card like that. So you don't hit this. Now, this card does have one problem. you only get one ticket. So with the one ticket, most stickers need two. So this is not a card you put into play, boom, you get the effect and you're good to go. So this card does need help. But good news, we have some really good cards in green and black that allow us to get a lot of tickets. So
So
this is what I'm gonna.
I pulled up an oracle for, well, I guess it's not by color, just green and black, but I did an oracle search for just stickers. So this should
Mhm.
be theoretically like all of the cards that are common that we can use.
Yep.
But I could further put this on our colors so we can talk about them. I assume these are going to be the ones that you were going to talk about, but
Oh, definitely. Definitely. There are quite a few in both colors. The one that actually David presented to me during the match was Silk Strider. It's a 5 mana 5/4 Rhino with reach. Um, when it enters the battlefield, you get 2 tickets, and then you put a sticker on a non-land permanent you own. The most important part about this card is that you immediately get the effect, you immediately put it on something, and it's a 5 mana 5/4. So it's
it's
on
a
curve.
finisher in that same sort of slot that I've been using.
Exactly.
So if we look at my list here, my finishers right now are like the Land Cyclers, the Ent and the Troll, and then Fangren Marauder, which has been an all-star in the deck. So it does slot in there where you could maybe potentially cut one of these or find something else that we don't want, depending.
Oh yeah. I mean, Finger and Marauder is just insane, right? Like, I'll be honest with you, like these are not going to compare to that. Like that card is just like busted in a deck like yours.
that
like...
card shines. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but in general, this card is going to give you 2 tickets no matter what. And once again, we go back to Dread Return now, right? Like we have cards like that. And why is it hard to continue? Like, you are a Tortured Existence deck. If you loop this card is crazy. This is one of those cards that is mediocre by itself, and then when you give it the rest of its puzzle pieces and you synergize it with the rest of your deck,
yeah,
this card's absurd. And if you don't mind, if could we go into a few of these stickers to where we could give a little bit more context of why a card that just gives 2 tickets is insane?
Yeah. So we found all the tickets, or the sticker sheets. There are a fuck ton. There's 48 different sheets with various pieces on them that are applicable. So there's the names, there's some other stuff which I don't even know what those things do, and then there's the ones that cost tickets to give you either power, toughness, or certain abilities. And that's about all I know about them. Like I said before, the only thing I cared about in the past was just the names. So we picked the names that meant, the best thing for that goblin. In this case, I think keywords are probably the thing we're going for, and or maybe switching power or toughness, especially on like a 2/2 bird with ward, making it a like 10/10 for instance here. Like that's 6, tickets. So probably not happening, but it could. When I read of the rules, it did say that you're allowed to pick 10, I believe.
Correct. You have a 10 sticker sheet with you when you start the game.
So we would literally have to go through all 48 and try to figure out which of them are the best for this particular couple of cards that we were going to add in. Although, obviously the keywords can apply to any creature, so that doesn't matter. But,
Correct.
Yeah, so I mean, if you want to just start at the top, and we can just talk briefly about what each one of them does and try to get through this list without taking 3 hours.
Well,
or if there
I
are
think
some key ones that you want to talk about.
Yeah, that's I sometimes get a little bit long in the tooth with some of these, so I'd rather kind of just jump to specific ones that I've seen that are just relatively absurd, specifically with like Severus, if that's all right with you.
Yeah, if you've already got some handpicked, let's do it.
I mean, I just want to go down to like 7 in Carnival, Elephant, and Meteor.
Okay.
And if you read that one is a 2-ticket, and it says sacrifice this permanent, draw 2 cards.
Now, that is... So, when okay, let's see. Like we go with the chicken.
Yep.
When we cast chicken, it hits it hits the board. When it comes in, I get a
One
ticket.
ticket.
So this
One.
doesn't do anything for us. Now,
Correct.
but then it does say you may put a sticker on an online permit you own. So are you still allowed to do that, or
Correct.
but
So
only
this
like
is
names because the other ones cost tickets?
correct. So you get to pick one of these items, put it on a permanent you control. So whatever it is, you put it on there, right? So if it's a creature, so this one specifically states permanent. So you actually get to put that on a permanent you control. So then you get to put it there, but you can't use it yet, right? So you're
You
kind of
have to
like just
have
like
the. So if you
two
did put
ticket.
this, you put the 2 ticket thing in this particular example. We put
Hmm.
that sticker on the creature, but then we have to earn another ticket first before we can
Yeah,
use it.
so it's weird.
Or is it more
so
like we
so
need to
this
use the other
is
guy that does the 2 tickets off right off the bat, and then we play the other guy later, and then just
well
apply a sticker? I don't know.
well
That's where I
so
get confused.
so it's super weird, right? So if we could just like look at another part of these cards, you see, and this is a question that I had as well. You see on Carnival Elephant Meteor, you see 2 tickets at the bottom. This is 4-1 and 8-7 for 2 and 5. And I was like, what in the hell is this for? I'm like, why am I looking at like power and toughnesses? And they're like, oh, if you invest this many tickets, you get that. And I'm like, um, on all of my creatures? And they were like, no, that creature. I'm like, you guys are making my brain explode. I'm gonna just ignore this. But yes, that's actually how it works. So if you invest this many tickets, you're able to actively turn a creature into that power and toughness, which is kind of crazy. So like you're not actually looking at just like 2 tickets, sacrifices permanent, draw 2 cards. You're looking at, if I invest 5 tickets in this, is Severus an 8-7?
Sure.
Which isn't unrealistic. And the reason I say that is in your color scheme specifically. Now, you did say I need to sell you on this, right?
Yeah.
So I have to sell you on this. So I'm going to be the salesman here. We have in your color scheme, we have Ticket Automaton, which is a 3 mana artifact creature, which does the same, gives you 1 ticket, but also puts a sticker on a non-land permanent you control.
Mm-hmm.
And you have Silt Strider, so we have 2. Now, we move to the lower mana cost ones. We have Finishing Move, which is a 3 mana. You get 2 tickets. It's a sorcery. Then you put a sticker on a non-land permanent you own. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature you don't control. So now you have a fight spell with 2 tickets. Some
Okay.
of these tickets are absurd to like outpower your creature. Now, Severus is already a 3/3, right? And a lot of the other creatures in your deck, like Gary and other things of that nature, are already a bit stronger on their own.
Mm-hmm.
And if we keep pairing it with Finishing Move, and then we get our chicken trope, right? And then we have this one absurd creature. Now, I've been told this creature's not up to par in competitive play. I'm 50-50 with it. I think it is, but some people think it isn't. But I want to give it the benefit of the doubt currently, which it's a 6 mana creature. It's 5 colorless, 1 black. Carnivore. It's an alien crab horror. It has Death Touch, and when it enters the battlefield, you may get 1 ticket. Then you may put a sticker on a non-land permanent you own, and it's a 4/6. So for 6 mana, you get a 4/6 with Death Touch with 1 ticket, which I know isn't that exciting. But the thing that this card does is it's a beat stick in a deck like Severus. It gives you the ticket, and once again, with the way your deck loops and loops and loops and loops, holding down the fort is kind of a thing your deck does very well. And this just contributes to that play pattern.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I was actually looking at this green dinosaur that reminds me of the goblin that we were talking about earlier. It's a 6 mana 3/3 with trample, but when it ETBs, you put a name on it, and you get a 1/1 counter for each unique Val, which is the same exact thing that the goblin does, except for that makes you mana.
Yep.
In this case, this thing might come down as like a, an 8/8 with trample. Could be pretty good to finish things off, especially if you have, stickers or whatever to put on it.
Yep.
Beyond the first. I like that one kind of better than the other one, outside of the fact that a 4/6 with Death Touch blocks pretty much everything. However, you do have the issue of it can only block one thing. If it's a Dargo coming at you, sure, you block it, but then they just recast Dargo and they hit you the next turn anyway, so this may just be staving off the bleeding. It also can't block any flyers or anything like that, so, anything with its chip damage, you're going to not be able to stop, but most big threats are like 4/4s, so this is going to kill those. So,
well, what these stickers are? These stickers, the way I've been looking at them, these aren't there for the beginning game. Because let's be realistic. If you're afraid of a Dargo, what does your deck have to offer a Dargo? Snuff out, go for the throat, right? Any fight spell that you could create with a Death Toucher or any of the other creatures in your deck that are easily able to put a front, Moment's Peace, Spore Frog, the list is endless if you're afraid of a Dargo. If a Dargo beats you because one of your sticker creatures was off balance, then so be it. Magic wins sometimes, with the draw and so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think it's right to compare it to Dargo is going to kill us. Because if Dargo was going to kill us and it kills us on turn 2, Stuff Out was our answer at this point. Doomblade, maybe.
No, yeah, I wasn't speaking to it. I was just making an example of like, okay, well, what is this thing blocking that I care about? And that's the first thing that comes to mind. That's a big thing that you need to block. That's not to say that there aren't other things that we want to block.
Yeah, but, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, out of those, I don't hate. I don't hate the bird. I don't hate finishing move. I hate that it's 3 mana, but it does give you extra value. So there's that.
I agree.
So, I mean, I think the ones that provide, these two that provide 2, not terrible. I think Stilt Strider is pretty good on the curve, and it already gives you something automatically, off the bat that you can do something with. It also has reach, which is pretty cool. The ticket one is fine, and the bird one is fine as far as it's a ward 2, which is, I like that part of it especially, and it still gives you kick. So yeah, I mean, I guess I could see where you could sack this to Severus, you get some value, then you get it back, you get your second ticket, then you put something on it, so it's now a 4/1 flyer or whatever, but it still has ward. I guess it's not a flyer. How the hell is that a bird and not a flyer? That's ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah, I know it's a weird card. So I'm gonna hit you with one more card, and then I think we need to delve into the actual stickers because a lot of these cards look like poo. I'm gonna be brutally honest with you. They're like
I see that.
Mediocre at their best until you actually read the sticker cards themselves. And the last card I wanted to bring to you was Librarian Buddy. It's a 1-mana 1/1 alien guest, and it has trample for. I have no idea why it has trample. I'll be honest with you, but it has pay 1 green, tap it, you get a ticket counter. If you play this card, Librarian Buddy. So BLORBIAN.
Blorbian Buddy. Okay, yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
I added an A. I added an A in there. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, it did. Since I looked for stickers and not ticket counters, I didn't realize this was here. Okay, yeah. Yeah, one with it's got trample because most things that are going to provide you with these are also going to then thereby provide you with stickers, so you give it a better power toughness late game or later game.
Yeah. So This card is weird.
I
It's
don't
just
hate it.
1/1 for 1. It's a cheap blocker early. It recurs. It adds to the creature count in the deck because you're on Tortured Existence, right?
Yep.
So it's more of a live card throughout the game. This card's good. It doesn't look that great.
No, but being
One,
able to just recursively give those isn't bad because the stickers. It's not like you just take one thing off of the sticker sheet and then you lose it. You have multiple things on each sticker sheet, so it is
correct.
going to let you get to more of them more often. I think this is the kind of consistency that it needs.
Correct. So, and then the other one is the Mana Rock. I forgot about this one. It came to my mind. I had to bring this one up too, and that's Ticket Turbo Tubes.
1 second, 1 second. Just putting all these in other tabs so I don't have to keep bouncing around. Sorry, what? Turbo what?
Tubes.
Ticket turbo tubes. Add 1 mana.
Yep.
Get a ticket. I hate 3 mana rocks. I try to avoid them as much as possible nowadays, but
I
in my
agree.
early CPDH builds, I was using a lot of 3 mana rocks, but I've gotten away from them.
Yep.
Okay, so I don't hate that either. And then it really, I mean, it just comes down to can I fit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and maybe not that one. 5, 6. That's 6 cuts to get like 2 pieces of support, and then 2 things that give 1 ticket, and 2 things that give 2 tickets. One of them being a spell.
Yep.
I don't know
So,
if I
like,
can find 6 cuts. It's been mind-numbingly difficult to find the cuts the last few times that I've done anything.
I agree. I agree. But these cards are win conditions. These cards are not like. These are not the backbone that your deck is looking for, right?
I
Like,
already
so
have the
for instance,
backbone
this
for
one.
sure. Like I needed
Exactly.
finishers, and that's why this came up in the first place.
Exactly. So now let's move away from this, and I think,
Go back to the stickers.
if you don't mind, if we actually delve deep into these stickers.
Yep, stickers are pulled up. You had brought up the Carnival Elephant Meteor, which
Yep.
is a nice
So
little sack
that was
outlet.
just
That's also drawing cards, so yeah, that's not terrible. Oh no, you froze. No, don't do this.
I'm not saying it's
Okay.
good. Oh, good to go.
Yeah, now you're back.
Okay. So I wanted to bring up a few honorable mentions and then kind of go back and forth between them. And honestly, I mean, you're here. I want to get your opinion on these
Yeah.
and see what I mean. The first one I want to bring up as an honorable mention is Urza's Dark Cannonball. So it'll be at the top, fourth in.
Got it.
So right at the top, fourth in.
Yep. So
With 2 tickets.
Exalted.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And with 3 tickets, we're giving our creature shadow. So
That's
whatever
pretty bonkers.
creature. So let me start with the straight up caveat from the very beginning. So this is just known. These stickers provide something that our format doesn't offer. So some of these stickers are like, excuse me, when you read them. So we don't have cards that just like actively do certain things in our format. Yes, we have a few cards here and there that do shadow, but very few far between, right? I don't believe we have any cards that do persist. Like, there's a few far in between with some of these stickers, but overall, these stickers give very unique possibilities to this format. So
Yeah. Okay, so dumb question. Are the images in the middle, they don't do anything, right? They're just nothing.
yeah, that's what I said too. So I asked a friend, I phoned a friend, and they told me no, because the card has 4 things and there's just 3 stickers, and then the first one, whatever, like, so for instance, this one is Urza, so straight below it is the squirrel, and then dark straight below it was the hat, and then cannonball. So you get to just like a name, whatever you want, and place a sticker on it and say, This is the squirrel sticker
Okay,
is
so
exalted,
yeah.
exalted.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. So
I
it
haven't
was just
actually
like that
seen
weird
any of
thing.
these in person because I didn't buy into that unset. As much as
Yep.
I liked the lands, I just didn't buy into it. The only unset I ever really bought into was the last one, or not the last one. Last one was a box set. The one before that, that had the full art, the really painterly esque, mountain and everything. The basics, they were like full art. It was some of the first full art ones that we got, in a
Oh,
long
like
time.
unhinged,
Um, no, unglued.
Unfinity? No, unglued or
No,
unhinged?
it was the one that had the contraptions.
Uh,
It was the third
uh.
one or fourth one, third one, I think.
Oh my gosh, there's so many at this point.
Well, because there was unhinged and unglued, or were for a couple of the first ones, I believe.
So, unglued, unhinged.
There was the one that was the box set, and then there was Unfinity. It's the one that came out before the box set, which was like a self-contained set. You bought the whole thing all at once. That one I didn't buy into either. Oh god, man, what is it?
I know you're making my brain fart
Um,
too because I actually own it.
Unstable. Thank you, Kunks.
There
That's
you
the
go.
one. That was the only one I bought into, and I bought it because I kept seeing like the little 3-pack draft packs in Target and stuff. Like we'd be there randomly, and I was like, "Ooh, full art lands. Give me those packs." Like I didn't even give a shit about the cards, and those are the only ones we did play with them when that set first came out. Me and some friends bought enough of them to put decks together, and we had a good time with it. But it was kind of a short-lived, goofy gag thing, and then nobody cared. So yeah. Anyhow,
Oh, so, so let's go back to the stickers.
yeah.
I'm gonna jump ship entirely, and when I hit you with a sticker, that you're gonna be like, "Wait, what did you just say to me?" Snazzy Aether Homunculus. You're gonna go really far down in the list, like midway, second one
Got it.
in. There's a crowned. Yep.
Yeah. Target creature gains all types till end of turn. Hey, that's good for Malcolm.
Yep.
Whenever you cast or copy an instant source, draw a card. Oh, that's Magecraft off of the wizard.
Yep.
Wow, that's pretty
Yeah.
good.
That card's insane, right? Like if you rip this card, dude, this card's bonkers, right? Now, this is
See, with the amount of
even,
mana and the amount of cycling I can do in a turn, holy shit.
bro, Magecraft? Like,
But I
let's
don't
be
do a lot of
realistic.
instant and sorceries in this deck, though. I believe I'm only
Well,
on. Well, I'm on 23, so that's not a terrible number.
Well, this is one of my honorable mentions, right? Because
Okay,
this
sure.
is one of the ones where I'm like, the first thing someone's gonna say when they see this card is Malcolm, right? And
Yeah.
you literally did that without even me having to like do anything about it. Because this card's bonkers, right? Like this card's insane, and even Magecraft on its own, like the draw the card ability is insane. And if we actually go right above Snazzy and we go to Cursed, Fire Breathing, and Yogurt. Let's look at this one.
Well, okay. It was up or down from that one.
Literally directly above it.
Okay. Prowess. And then this. Okay. Yeah, I mean, four layers of prowess on the Spellstalker would be fucking awesome.
Yeah, like this card is also bonkers. Like these stickers provide awkward abilities that we typically don't have in the format. Typically, right? Like a
Yeah.
commander may have it, or other things may have it. And then let's jump ship again. Let's move over one left from that one. So demonic, tourist, and laser.
Okay. Outlast 1. Whenever this permanent dies, you get 7.
You
So
get
a ticket
7.
ritual.
Yes. So if you look at a lot of the tickets, if we just look at this one as a prime example, right? You're not using this one to give you the momentum. You use this one to give you the ritual, right? And if you look at a lot of these cards at the bottom for the power and toughness, 4 for 4/8, 5 for 8/6, 3 for 5/3. We're just like jumping ship with a lot of these power and toughnesses with a random creature in our deck, right? So we're making a 1/1 into an 8/6. We're making maybe a 5/5 into a 7/8, right? But we're still accidentally gaining some insane power and toughness, right?
Yeah.
So now let's go right. But now this is one.
Hold that thought. Your video has frozen completely.
Uh-oh.
I hear you just fine, but the video froze.
That is not good. Let me see if it's me.
On the live stream, you can see me moving. So I think it is just you.
Do I need to turn off my... I'm moving over here on my side. Still me?
Maybe suck your camera off and on?
Yeah. Give me a second. Let me know.
So I see you on... Yeah. Oh, yeah, it looks good.
Good to go?
Oh, no. Hold on. What? Okay, so I see you moving on in Discord. But then the capture... Oh, yeah, now it's moving. Okay. Looks good.
Good to go?
Yeah.
So, this is one specifically for your deck. I think this card is insane. If we move to this sticker.
Okay.
Giant Mana and Cake.
Yep.
Directly below the one we were just talking about.
This permanent leaves the battlefield, create 2 food tokens. Oh, yes. Permanent dies, you may destroy target. Okay, so removal or more value generation, more life maybe. Yeah, I mean, anything that can make me foods just loops that fucking cat. So I like that.
Yeah, like this card is just insane for your deck, right? And if this permanent dies, you may destroy target non-land permanent. If you have the cat, just like you just said, with these foods, right? We're just looping and looping and looping and looping. And if we get our Tortured Existence, we're in the driver's seat, right? Like, now I am also talking more about the ceiling than I am about the floor. But even if we talk about the floor and we just get this card, we're gaining.
Well, a lot of the things that I have
life.
are already getting sacked and providing value as it is. So this is just adding more value to that, or it's adding value to things like a Llanowar Elves that I already don't care about and want to sack it, and now I make 2 foods. And then those foods in turn do more stuff for me. Yeah, no, anything that adds more tokens is good, especially if they're creatures or artifacts. Anything that does is a sneaky way to get removed. I mean, destroying to target non-land permanent is pretty broad. I mean, it's anything except for a land. That's pretty good.
Yeah, but we don't have that in our format, right? We don't have cards that specifically state non-land permanent.
That was my
right?
point. Also, in these colors in particular, it's like creature or that's about it. Like I can do artifacts and enchantments because of green, but anything beyond that is kind of out of reach. And even the stuff that we do have isn't amazing. I don't even know if I'm running anything that does do that. Anyhow, yeah, I like this. We're gonna have to. I hope you have these written down already. Because I'm gonna have to start adding some of this shit to my considering pile.
These are pretty sauce, man.
I guess we could do that towards the end. I can try and slap together a top 10. You've given me like 3 or 4 already. So what's next?
Well, so those were honorable mentions. This was actually the first one that I actually believe definitively goes in your deck. As crazy as that sounds. Yeah. The next one that I think has some crazy merit is Cool Fluffy Loxodon.
Okay, got it. This permanent
enters
the battlefield, draw a card, or whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, this permanent becomes a... Fuck, what? What? Whenever a creature enters the bat... What the fuck?
Yeah.
I mean, that's 5 tickets. That's gonna be some work to get to, but like,
So,
god damn.
but this is this not what you're doing to win the game? So similar to like Ankylosaur, what he does with Aranus and Street, these are not there to like gain casual value. He doesn't
Right.
put the 2 foods into play and gain 3 life with them unless it's like the last thing, right? That's there. I'm killing your combo piece. I'm murdering whatever you do, right? This is the exact same for your deck, right? Your control deck. At heart, even though I think your deck is more geared to mid range because you have a little bit more of a mid game plan and a little bit more mid game threatening.
Give me 2 ticks. My dog is fussing to go out.
No worries. I'll catch up on the chat here. So. Hey, there you go. Ankylosaur, I didn't know you were in the chat, my bro. Definitely. Yes. Oh, hell yeah. Oh, that's true. Yeah. So, Icarus Spring on. Yeah, with a Deadly Dispute, that's insane. Like, that is insane. And yes, the cat in his deck is. If he draws that cat in this deck, it is insane. I don't know if you're following along with the actual deck list and stuff like that, but definitely check it out. I mean, we definitely love your feedback. Oh, it's not too bad, man. It's I got some nasty weather outside. It's Florida. it's it's literally been raining since what time is it now? It's 9 o'clock here. It's been raining since 4:30 when I got home today. So it's been quite a show.
I wish. It has been cooler the last couple days. Today it only got into the 80s, so that's been nice because it's been in the hundreds for a while. Let me look at the chat because that sounded. I heard a lot of ums and ahs, but then it was like, what? Wait.
First yes, Ankylosaur gave some actually great feedback.
Which one was that? Oh, right here.
That was the food
one.
Oh,
it's permanent. Yeah. Because then you're drawing a card and then also making 2 more foods to keep going.
Yep.
Sticker the cat, sack it, get 2 foods, sack a food. That is... well, no, because... Once the permanent leaves the battlefield, the sticker would be gone, right? Or does the sticker stay even if it goes somewhere else?
No, the sticker stays.
Even if it goes to the graveyard?
If it goes to the graveyard, but it stays with it.
Seriously?
To my knowledge, maybe Ankylosaur could help me with that since he's here in the chat. But from what I know...
it says they'll stay on the permanent when the permanent is in the graveyard. Dude, that's the piece that I've been missing for fucking ever. I was talking about that cat in particular with Witch's Oven, and they were like, well, how do you untap it? And I'm like, well, yeah, you're right. How do you untap it? You can't. Not in this format. Not in these colors. So I was like, well, I guess that's fucked. But if it is making... Sticker the cat, sack it. Get 2 food, sack food to get it back. Drain it. That's the fucking outlet I've been... Oh my god, you're a savior. You guys both saviors. So, love it.
Yeah. So Ankylosaur, so that's what I was told, and he's agreeing with us. So like, this is what you needed, right? Like, we're here.
What I needed.
All right, now let me hit you with this one. Let me hit you with this next one, because I think you're gonna love this one for your deck too.
Your camera froze
Sassy
again.
Gremlin Blood.
We can keep chatting. You're probably gonna have issues because you had a storm. I mean, worst case, your pretty face is still there. So.
There you go.
You can when you're not talking or not absorbed, you can just reset your camera again, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, man. I could, I mean, if you want me to just kill my camera, if it's just giving you issues, I could just kill it and we could leave it at that, or totally up to you.
I don't. I like how it looks though. It looks so symmetrical. I set it up just right. The cards fit right in between our faces.
All right. I'm back up. All right, now let me hit you with this one, because this is another one that I believe has to go in your deck.
Yeah, hit me with it.
Sassy Gremlin in Blood.
Was it up or down? Oh, I found it.
This is down.
Yep.
So this is a weird one. I don't care about the bottom half of this one.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't
creature
care that
attacks,
we're
create a
giving something
treasure.
flying.
That's good. Yeah.
That's
Giving
insane,
flying
right?
to pay
It's
for
just
something is not
free
good.
value.
Yeah. The 6 tickets
But
for
if we
a
look
10
at
10
this,
isn't terrible either.
exactly. The 6 tickets for 10-10 is insane. But then all creature attacks create a treasure. So we're gaining free value for just going to combat, right? So just like your deck has those squirrel tokens, right? You just get to throw those under the bus sometimes, and or you get to just hit somebody for free. So you're going to get free treasure tokens for playing the game because of these. It's so much free value to me. It's hard to ignore.
No, yeah, anything, like I said, anything that makes me tokens is good. I'm just floored by that other one because that's actually a combo I was trying to make work and there was no answer and the answer already existed and I just never looked at this shit to know it. So you've sold me on at least trying to make that work because that is an infinite outlet that just goes. I can't tutor the cat. That is the only sad part. But it is one of those things that you just, you draw a value train into it eventually. And, I've played quite a few games of this. I have played it a couple times. So, I mean, it's going to happen sometimes. And then otherwise, some of these other ones you're going to present to me, which I'm hoping they're just as exciting, may be the things that you can do with other stuff to just, beat people down. Obviously, some of those keywords are going to do that kind of thing. So,
Yeah, definitely. So here's a funny one for you. Let me look for this one. I lost it.
Let me double check
my...
this. So they're saying, oh yeah, carrion feeder. Yeah, a carrion feeder or any other free sack outlet of Viscera Seer would work. I think those are the only two frees I have on creatures. But then I also have, oh, actually I killed the, I did kill the shrine, or altar, because it was not really doing a whole lot for me. Yeah, but I mean, either way, I've got a few. Plus, there's all of the different ways to sack it with spells, and then you're going to draw more, and then hopefully draw into the other answer. Okay, anyway, I apologize. I was just responding to chat there.
No worries, my bro. It's, let's jump to the top. Let's go all the way back to the top.
Okay.
So, this was another honorable mention, but I think it has merit. But the one after this one, I think is an auto include. So we're going to go literally all the way to the top and go to trendy, circus, and pirate.
Okay.
Second one in.
Yep. So it's 2 tickets or death touch. 5 is whenever creature deals combat damage to player, create that many squirrel tokens. Yeah, I don't hate that. That is a way to apply some pressure, especially if you've already been able to apply like a. Well, I mean, Sivirus itself is a 3/3, but if like we got one of those bigger creatures down, applying that would be even better. Makes it to where you can start going wider. I'm already making squirrels every turn pretty much anyway.
Exactly.
I don't hate it.
I think this card is decent. This is a card I would test. I don't know how well it
Well,
would
the thing is you get 10
do.
stickers, so I mean there's going to be ones that are going to be obvious and there's going to be ones where you're like, okay, this is the edge case. And you test the edge cases as you go. Now I wish I had another week before the damn tournament so I could actually test all this shit. I guess we're going to have to try and figure out how I'm going to slot a couple of these in so I can test them tonight and see how it goes. But
exactly. So the one that I think is an auto include, and this is worth every damn ticket you try to freaking play, is directly below it, my man. Zombie, Cheese, and Magician. Read that stupid ass sticker.
First strike, awful. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw that many cards. That is the spice of life.
Like, what card in our entire format says that? Right? Like, we don't have that. the fact that we could give this to a creature that we control, especially with you playing a mid-range deck, and be like, oh, you don't have it? Oh, you have a blocker? I'll snuff that out. Slam into you with a 2/2. A 2/2, this gives you value. The floor, a 1/1, draw 1 for 1 damage. Even the floor is good. But if you
Yep.
notice what this card does, for 3 tickets, it gives you a 6/2.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
So if we prioritize this one, if we so happen to have this one in our 3, this is going to outcard advantage essentially any deck in the format. Sure, we might not be able to attack an Abdel player, or might not be able to attack a TPI player, but
Yeah.
we're attacking a gut player.
Well, but
We're
then we
attacking
also
a
may have
Malcolm
other
player.
stickers, and we're giving the shadow. You know, you give something
Exactly.
6/2 and then shadow plus this. I mean, that's a lot of fucking tickets, which we're probably gonna have a hard time to get to. But in Magical Christmas Land, this is doable.
Yep.
In certain games, I've had some pretty grindy games with this deck. So I mean, there are gonna be times where that works.
Exactly. So this is one that I thought was bad in most decks. And then when I thought about your deck, I thought this one specifically was insane. So if we go down a few, because we're on zombie cheese, go
Yep.
1, 2 down. So go to deep fried, go 1 to the right, to the contortionist, otter, and storm.
All right, so this is on the 2-level tap. Target creature gains haste until end of turn, so giving things haste isn't terrible. 4 Death Touch Lifelink, also not terrible. I'm not running a lot of fight spells, so that doesn't feel as relevant. Outside of, you know, just having Death Touch and Lifelink on a creature isn't bad. The ability to give haste isn't bad either. But I don't know that I have a ton of stuff that's activated abilities. So what was your reasoning for this one?
So the reason I thought that this card was actually pretty good was I've seen your commander get nuked almost out of the game in some matches.
Yeah.
And if your commander has haste,
Sure,
I feel that people would just be like, they're gonna get the value anyways, leave it alone.
sure,
Right.
it's possible.
And
Also,
then
just being
even
able
if
to
they
give haste.
don't-
So, but this would require me to cast Sivris, which is already 4 mana, and then cast something that gives me 2 tickets, which we're looking at about 5 mana, or having already banked tickets off of like that mana dork. It's not even a mana dork, but like,
yeah, you don't need Cerberus for this. You just put this on something randomly.
oh,
and then
right,
whenever you
yeah,
decide to
no,
cast
yeah,
Cerberus,
right,
yeah.
my mistake. Yeah, this is like Crashing Drawbridge. You give that ability to some other creature. Yeah,
Correct.
okay.
Yep.
I was totally looking at that the wrong way, but yeah, that makes sense. Not terrible, but this is also why I've stopped and why it makes this even more of a mid-range list. Is my playstyle with it has changed, because initially it was try to get Sivris as soon as possible to get the card advantage, and that's when people started nuking me. And so now I try to play it to where I have a ton of 1 mana interactive spells that are instant speed that I can protect Sivris with. So I try to wait until I have 5 mana so that I always have protection for her before I cast her. Now, in the case of this kind of can subjugate that, in the sense that you can give the haste, and as you said, it's kind of almost protection because maybe they don't nuke it because you're already going to get the value.
Exactly.
So pseudo protection in a sense. I don't hate that. This would be lower on my list than everything else you've shown me so far, but I mean, outside of the honorable mentions, there was a couple there that I wasn't too high on, but there was a couple I liked.
So let's just literally move right to the right. Sticky, Kavu, and Daredevil.
Okay.
I am pretty high on this one because of your background.
So when this permanent dies, you may return target creature to its owner's hand. Whenever this creature attacks creatures you control. Okay, so being able to go wide with squirrels does make a huge difference. Also,
it's permanent.
So you can put it on one of the artifacts or something we're gonna sack and then bounce.
Yep. And you're still gonna get your Silver triggers. You're still gonna get your pump. Like, this card could end the game.
Yeah.
For you relatively quickly.
Yeah, I can see that. I don't hate this one either.
So
Um,
like this is another pretty bonkers card.
I do
And
like the
now let's
little the
move.
little anthem effect. That is nice because squirrels, as 1/1s are pretty ill effective, but when they become 2/2s, they can start hitting some stuff.
Yep, agreed. But let me move to the next weird one. This one I think you'll be a little bit more high on, even though it's awkward when you first read it. But this is one of those ones that makes your brain think, and you're like, oh shit, this card's nuts. And this is just go two over. Phyrexian, Midway, and Bamboozle.
Okay. Yep. I mean that immediately is we want anything that we can pack in that gives us more tickets. So whenever this creature attacks, you get its ticket. That's good. Undying also pretty good for value in this deck. I
Yep,
like both of
but
those.
and 5 tickets, you get a 6/9.
Also
Two
relevant.
tickets, you get a 4/2.
I like the 6/9.
Um,
That blocks the Dargo indefinitely. And if you
yep,
can also put Death Touch on it, then well, they're never fucking with you ever again.
exactly. And this is just going to give you tickets to power out all your other ones. And then
Right.
this Undying is really going to protect whatever card you decide to put this on. And because it almost incentivizes someone to not try to kill it at this point because you're like,
I mean, with
now
that
they're getting more
Undying, because of
tickets.
the
And
stick,
like,
well, but because of the sticker thing, Undying. This is another way to make a loop with Undying, and doesn't this do the same thing that we were trying to do with Devoted Druid?
I mean, don't you want this on a Gray Merchant? Like, is that not what we're doing, right?
Yeah, I
Like, this
mean,
is,
yeah, that would do it too, for sure.
yeah, like with what your deck is already doing, some of these, like this one specifically, this Undying, by the way, it's only 3 tickets. This is not like jumping through 42 hoops. This is 3 tickets.
Mm-hmm.
So for 2 tickets, you put this straight on Gray Merchant, swing once, you got it. You immediately pop it to Severus.
Oh, so you don't have to pay the additional. Hold on, hold on. So you just brought up a nuance that seems important. You put this on something, you you said pay 2 tickets, and then you use it to attack, and you get the extra ticket. Now, once you have that extra ticket, you pump that into the same thing, and you get the Undying one. It doesn't cost an additional 3.
I believe it was one more. We may have to check that. Under my assumption, you just paid the one additional
Uh,
to
um,
get the third ticket.
David, do you
I may
do you
be
know?
wrong.
Do you know?
Let's
Or if you're
see
still
if
in chat,
David's in the chat.
you're our
That's
man with the most
something.
experience. Maybe I should have brought him on. uh,
Yeah, I did not ask that
well,
question.
so that's the thing, is that like my understanding of this is like each one of these stickers costs that many tickets, and that was where
Hmm.
the looping comes in of like I need to loop this creature that gives me 1 ticket
I think
twice
I
to get
think
to
you're
2.
I think you're right. I
That would
think you're
make
right.
more sense, because otherwise that's pretty
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
broken. You go 2, you attack, you get the other one, then all of a sudden you give another creature Undying. That seems broken. And not that
Well,
these
no,
aren't already broken,
no, it's
but
this. It's the same creature. It's not a different one. It
I
gives it to
assumed that
that
was a
same
different.
creature. Yeah, yeah.
I assumed this was a
Mm-mm.
different sticker altogether. Is the whole text box one sticker?
Yes.
Oh
Yep.
yeah, it's one of the stickers is the whole name, one of the stickers is the whole text box, and the other sticker is the bottom, whichever selection you made.
Yeah. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, this is a lot to wrap your head around. Like, has never been
Yeah.
a
This is
mechanical
not.
thing in Magic.
Yeah. So, oh, we got one. So, Undying is a sticker. So then we have to pay 3 more tickets for Undying as well.
Well, the
So
way the
we have
card
to pay the
design looks
initial
is that
2.
like the whole box is like one sticker, which is what you were saying. Is that like it's an additional thing. Tickets work kind of like energy from Kaladesh. You store up tickets, and then when something tells you can place a sticker, you can spend your tickets on the cost to place it. Issue of stickers. Reading the card does not explain the card. That is very true. In this is the worst example
So,
of that. So it sounds
so
like it is. So I remember energy from Kaladesh because that's when I first came back to Magic, and it was yes, any card that said generate this much energy, you had that much energy in your bank. It didn't go anywhere; it just sat there. So it's an additional resource. And in that instance, you have So we do one of the creatures that gives us 2, for instance. So we get 2. Each word
Okay,
is its
so
own
so it
sticker.
is. So
Okay, so
so it
those are
is
separate then.
it is right. Yes, so it is right. So you put the 2, and then you got to pay 3 more to get the next, which is perfectly fine. It doesn't change any of the dynamic, right? Because if you're getting tickets with this one,
I
with the
think the
Phyrexian
text
Midway and
box is
Bamboozle,
kind of like level up. It's like you pay 2 tickets, you get this. You pay
yeah,
3, you get this. Got it.
yep, yep,
Because you
yep,
want that same creature that's attacking to get you your tickets. You want to give it Undying so that it comes back at
correct.
least once. So yeah, that makes sense. It's also like something you put on something you don't want to sacrifice in this deck in particular.
See,
Okay,
we're learning
so
it all together, and
yeah,
how bonkers this is.
it's
See,
as much as you
this
were
is
telling
insane.
me. I looked at all these stickers the other day and I was just like, yeah, this doesn't make any fucking sense. I don't get it. I don't want to learn it. I have enough shit in my brain already. I don't need this information.
Oh, dude, I've been trying to. I've literally been trying to learn it. I've been asking people about it, and like literally, we're learning together right now as we speak. So like, I am totally about this.
All right, so Og
All
says
right.
that there are 2 ability stickers per card. In this case, each one of them costs, or one of them costs 2, and then the one of them costs 3. But are they separate stickers? That's the question. If they're are they separate, or are they like level up, where the whole text box applies to that one creature, and you just have to pay the additional cost of 3 tickets to add on that additional ability? You can answer at your leisure. We're going to move on to the next one.
Oh, here we go. David got us.
What do you say?
Separate. Separate.
Separate. Okay, so they are separate. So the names and everything is uniquely separate.
Yep, and Yami got us
And
too. Separate.
you can also, another stupid question, but can you use all 3 names and both abilities and both things off of one sticker sheet in one game? Like every individual thing is separate. It sounds like it. Cool.
Yeah.
Moving on then. That makes it even better, because then you could put the Undying thing on something that wants Undying that's a combo piece maybe. I'm almost 100% sure there's a combo with Undying on the outs, but also just being able to double cast Gary is good. Or sack him, get him back to get the cast him, sack him, get him back to get the additional, and then sack him again. He goes to grave, and then reanimate him, and then yeah, you can. I've been able to do 2 Garys in a game. 3 Garys seems like that probably wins you the game at that point.
Yep. So yeah, so the suspicions are correct. So you can use, as long as you have enough tickets, you can use the stickers as much as you want. So like you could spread them all around. So we get to use them however we want. And with that said, I'm gonna hit you with this one because you're gonna be like, what in the shit are you telling me right now?
What do you got?
Weird Angel Flame. Go to the bottom, all the way to the bottom, and go 2 up, and you're gonna see it. Weird Angel Flame.
Heroic. Whenever you cast a spell that targets this permanent, put 2/1/1 counters on it. Protection from even mana values. So the heroic does not sound good. I don't have a lot of shit that targets permanents, but protection from even mana can't even. It's
a weird one.
I mean that protects you from a large portion of removal and bounce spells. And then also just being able to block anything that's a token, because it's 0 mana value, and then any 2 mana values, and then any 4s. And what does Dargo cost? 6? Well, he probably costs a lot more than that, but it's still even all the time, isn't it? Is Dargo even or odd? I don't remember. I don't know.
7.
I don't know why I keep harping on Dargo. I've only played against him like a couple times, but so obviously, still. That's a good portion of like every card in the format that's just gone, especially because everybody's trying to have a lot of low CMC stuff. So yeah, that's pretty decent. Oh yeah, Snuff Out is 4 CMC. That is true.
Yep. No, all the echoing spells.
Yeah, the echoing.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I mean, it's pretty relevant for the format. But go 1 down. Elemental, Time, Flamingo.
All right, 2 tickets. Exile this permanent. You may cast non-land cards from your. What?
Target.
Oh,
One.
target.
Target.
I was just, my
One.
my brain just went, holy shit, it's fucking Yawgmoths or fucking Breach. What the hell?
Target.
Dude, my CDH Galaxy brain just went. All right.
Now, but that's still, tell me where we have both the two last ones we read in our format. We do not, right?
Mm-mm.
These are insane. So you
And
may
then
cast target.
the additional,
lane.
yeah, it's any non-land. So yeah, that's amazing. That gets back
That's
anything
insane.
that we may need, anything that somebody thought was a threat that they got rid of early. We can get it back. That's great. You do have to remove something, but it is, and we won't be able to get value off of whatever that is. But it could just be a food token or a squirrel token or whatever, and who gives a shit. So I don't hate that. Whenever a creature you control dies, each opponent loses. That's also pretty good because you put that on like Sivris on top of, or maybe that ward creature, or something that has in some sort of innate protection. And then now you have
your own
additional.
blood artists.
Yeah. I like that as well. That is a slam dunk in the deck for sure. And then a 3 cost to make something a 5/4 is nothing. I mean, you make a squirrel into a 5/4. That's a fucking beefy squirrel. So.
I mean, how often you have a ton of mana rolling around?
All the time.
Right?
I've never been screwed on mana in that deck ever.
Cool. So I'm glad you said that. So let's go back up to Weird Angel. Go to the left one, Notorious Sliver and War.
Okay. So here's a mana outlet. 5 generic creatures you control get +1/+1 in turn. Yeah, that's great for go wide. That is one thing that I will say is that I haven't really gone super wide because a lot of times I will play out those artifacts and things early game, get the value off of them, then sack them to Sivris or other means later on, and I have come to a point where I'm like floating. You're making squirrels, but then you're also sacking them to other things. So I am pretty much churning through more than having a big go wide board, but that doesn't mean that there aren't going to be games where that couldn't be a thing. To be able to like just spend 10 mana and give +2/+2 to everything, I don't hate that. Protection from creatures with 2 or more creature types. I don't know if that's relevant or not, but I assume it is.
Bro, think about how many creatures in the format are like a goblin pirate.
Well, Sivris itself is a snake cleric warlock, so yeah.
Exactly, right? Like everything has like
elf druid, vampire shaman, halfling peasant. Yeah, just going through my list, there's a lot of cards here. So okay, I see it.
Yep. Yeah, it doesn't look that good at first, and then you start going through and you're like, wait a minute. Oh crap.
That could potentially make something unblockable, and then with a combination of that with like other things that are potentially drawing your cards or doing other value stuff. I like this one less than most of the ones you've shown me, even though I think that's pretty good. I think the protection from the CMC2 is better. The 9/6 part isn't terrible, but I don't think I'm ever gonna have I'll have the mana, but I don't think I will ever have the board state to go do the anthem. I like the other anthem better, where it was like, whenever this creature attacks, all your other creatures get +1/+1. I think that was more relevant for my deck in particular.
I agree. So thus far, we've gone through quite a bit. I have one more. This one's not too crazy. This one's not too bad. Technically I have 2 more, but I'll kind of call it on this one, which is Mystic Doom and Sandwich, which is far to the top. And about 3 down, third row, third in.
Alright, so 2 tickets, lifelink, not great. 3 tickets, this creature must be blocked available. When this creature becomes blocked, it's 1/1. It's another turn for each creature blocking it. What do I have that cares about that?
So you throw a squirrel under the bus, right? So if this creature must be blocked if able. So if you know like your opponent has like some random card that you're like trying to get rid of, you throw Sivris if the creature's a 3/3, because they have to block it. And Sivris turns to a 4/4. So
Sure.
it'll just always
It's kind of a removal.
that.
I get that.
So it's an awkward removal. It's not always the best, it's not always the worst, but it has a lot of good things, and the lifelink I actually find to be very relevant. because with a deck like yours, you need to keep your head above water. And that's why I've kind of recommended a couple of these lifelinking ones, like Death Touch, Lifelink, and all these others. Because as long as you keep your head above water, you're gonna be, treading well.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I don't hate it. I've liked quite a few of the other ones. You've shown me better, but I don't know where we were at the like 10 selections. I think really that is kind of where I would like to look at this point, because you've already given me, and I can look at this more myself and see if there's anything else I find that I like better.
Oh yeah, definitely.
There was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards.
Well, I didn't hit you with the Menace or Persist one. There's a Menace and Persist one. So that one's already insane in a deck like yours. Because
Sure.
Persist is just bonkers.
Yeah, Persist and Undying are both really good for the deck.
Yep. So there are some pretty saucy ones here, but I wanted to get your opinion, right? Obviously, this is your stream, this is your thing, and we're kind of, both of us are learning this together. And I really wanted to know your opinion thus far, if I was able to at least change your mind a little bit on these, or...
So, yes. The thing for me was that I was looking at the creatures, and I was looking at them in the sense of, these aren't good enough. Like, they're not doing anything. Like, what are they doing? But then, I also was going into that, looking at them, going, like, I don't know what the stickers are. I don't know what the tickets do, blah, blah, blah. So, now, I went to try and kind of look at the stickers the other day, and it was kind of late at night, and I was like, you know what? I'll do this another day, because it was just a lot to wrap my head around. And I wouldn't have been able to wrap my head around it without the help of you and our lovely members of chat. Thanks, guys. The community's great here. Love y'all. Yeah, like, the questions that I came up with as you're explaining how this works to me, we both didn't know, and then they're telling us, yes, this is this and this is that, and now I kind of have my head wrapped around the whole concept to the point where I honestly think that the stickers are really fucking good. I don't really like the cards that I have to add to my deck to make the stickers work, but I can see the reasoning for it, because it is providing those outlets that I've been looking for this deck and other decks for fucking ages. And, like, it kept pissing me off, because I'm like, I know how to fucking play. I know combos. I know finishers. I know all these things, but then we have this limitation of common, and I'm like, I can't find the thing that I want to do this thing. And I'm like, I have 3 out of 4 pieces, or I have 2 out of 3 pieces. I just need that one last piece. What is the piece?
Yep.
And it's here. And this is the only place you can get it. And it's ridiculous.
Yep.
And I kind of hate that it exists and it is what it is, but that's the magic boomer in me, as I was called, or as we were called earlier. We're magic boomers, apparently.
Yeah, we are. There's no denying it, but...
So, I mean...
It's true, though.
Looking at this now and understanding the actual way that this can work is not terrible. It is now at this point where I have to pick. I need to make 6 cuts, because I think I need all 6 of these cards to make this work. So I need to find 6 cuts, and then I need to pick the 10 best sticker sheets to be able to do it. And then I believe you get 3 random ones. Oh, that's the other issue, though. Don't you only get 3 random ones at the beginning of each game?
Correct. So the way that works is that at the beginning of each game, you shuffle. You have a sticker sideboard, essentially, and you shuffle them up prior to the match.
I do know that
you shuffle them.
I do, because I have run the Goblin with the names. I do have them on that deck, and Moxfield Playtest actually does that for you and picks you your 3 that you're going to have for the game.
Correct.
So I already know that can kind of be taken care of me. But yes, for people who don't know, you get the 10, you shuffle, you get your 3, and then those are the ones you have. So it is going to be less consistent than actual cards in the deck. That does kind of put a damper on it, but you still have the ability to, some games I'm going to be able to get to that combo and do that thing. In other games I'm just going to have other options, but we already identified something we can do with the Cauldron Familiar, and we identified something we can do with Gary, and we identified things that we can do just for value, which may be the thing that gets you over the top. So
Well,
perhaps
we
that's enough.
identified a 13-13 Eldrazi as well.
Yeah, yeah, and that's not awful, because the Eldrazi I was
So,
trying to play was like an 8/9. It did have
yep,
Annihilator too, but like no haste, no nothing, nothing fancy. So
yep.
yeah, at this point, I really, like I said, I have to figure out maybe, because I mean we've already been doing this. Well, first of all, let me add, because I already have a bunch of shit in my considering, but let me add these cards to my considering list real quick.
Yeah, I think this was like that key, right? That
I'm gonna put them on
I
sideboard so
think,
they're somewhere else.
yeah, like this is the thing that I think is going to give you that win condition that your deck is needing.
Well,
And
that was
this,
something that I complained about early on. Was like, it's like I have this. I'm so close to having these wins, and it's just like I need something to close it out, and it just wasn't happening. And
yep,
then since then, I've had a couple wins, so I at least know that I have piloted it to the best of my ability. I've gotten it to where it's, pretty tight. The cuts have been hard. Like making these 6 cuts is gonna probably make me want to blow my brains out, but not
yeah,
considering damn sideboard.
yeah. There are some pretty good stickers. This is something that you really have to kind of almost pick on your own, because like you have the even mana value card, you have the odd mana value card as well for protections. You have a looting card. Like, one of them that I didn't even tell you, and this is one of my favorite ones, but this is fits my playstyle specifically, is playable Delusionary in Hydra, which is 2 tickets, is draw then discard a card. So it's just a looter. But then its 4 ticket is whenever this creature attacks, you gain 3 life and draw a card. That's insane. Like,
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm sure
what?
there's
Like,
other ones there too. Um, I was just going based off of what you had mentioned, and that's an easy, like, just pick 10, and then if it doesn't work, pick another 10, or pick different ones, and that's fine. It's the main thing is trying to get these 6. Is that 6? Yeah, that's 6. That's 6 cards. Oh man, that's always a difficult ask. It's been a difficult ask for me to try and find anything else. I did put in that Wolves Quarry. Maybe I cut that. Like, I haven't actually tested it yet, but I think maybe these these other options are probably slightly better. So I'm gonna start with that. I'm gonna move it to considering, but that's a cut. I'm thinking I might have to cut one of the green dorks, like Finhorn or Llanowar.
what about Rampant Growth?
And Rampant Growth isn't amazing. It's just it was just an additional way to.
Yeah, are the dorks not better though because of the tortured existence and stuff like that?
Well, I mean, it's sure double duty. Yeah,
Yeah.
I see that. I do like Revive the Shower because it is providing double duty, or not revive. The many partings, because it is providing double duty as well. It's giving you a token. Yeah, if you need to step away for a minute, I'm gonna look at this for like as long as it takes me to get 6 in here. Add some stickers real quick, and then we're gonna swap over to the community games. I may have to cut the stream for a few minutes because the way my stuff is set up to use OBS for capturing my playfield and then also streaming is kind of a pain in the ass. So
Yeah,
I may have to cut the stream for a few minutes while I set that up, but then we'll get the other people in and go. So
yeah, let's definitely step into that then, and then I'll head out right now, and yeah, definitely do your thing. And if you're gonna fill in your slots, let's make it happen. So,
yep,
all right, man, appreciate it, and I will be back.
yeah. We're gonna let Gator cut out here. I'm gonna stay on stream here for a minute and do the whole do. Let me cut his thing here real fast. That one, boop, and then that one, boop. All right, cool. So while we still have you guys here with me, if you have, I did post the list earlier. I don't know if anybody is actually interested in trying to make me get to this point. Oh yeah, sure. Let's see. We got 2. we've got to find those. If you guys see any cuts that you think, you let me know, because I've had a hard time finding the cuts in this deck as it is. I've been testing the Ent and the Troll, and I think with some of the finishers that we're potentially displaying here, even Still Strider just by itself being kind of in the same price range, I think it may be we put these guys into considering. That gives us a couple more. I've literally not land cycled them. I did cast the Generous Ent one time. It was cool to get the extra foods, but some of these stickers are going to provide the same sort of value, so I think maybe that's worth doing. So we got to find 2 more. And this is where it gets hard. I really like all of the artifacts that we have. I've gone through this a bunch. I've narrowed it down to like everything either gives me some sort of value on ETB by either providing mana, providing other tokens, providing some sort of value, or it's a LTB where we sack it with Sivirus, get the value of drawing a card from a Chromatic Star, and then also getting value off of the Sivirus trigger. I don't really want to cut any lands. I'm only on 30. I've never had problem with mana in this deck just because of the weird way that it works and the balance I've had with finding mana with spells, or, you know, having dorks, having rocks. That's never been a real issue, but I don't want to cut lands or really cut anything else that's providing mana ramp, just because we may have trouble getting to some of the more expensive stuff. Fangren and the top end stuff is really good. I also like the Cirrus Ungol Patrol, just because it is a way to, if nothing else, sack a Cauldron Familiar to get a food, to then sack the food to get the familiar back. So there are quite a few ways for that to be pretty good. I'm not opposed to cutting. I mean, we've got 3 mana dorks that are green, and then elves. I mean, I'm not opposed to cutting one of the green mana dorks. Bloodseeker probably needs to stay. I like some of these other ETB effects. Crypt Rats needs to stay. The House Guard tutors up a couple of my better creatures. The other thing is I could cut some edicts, but that is part of our removal suite, and they're recurable, so it kind of has to be there. I like Tempting Witch as far as being able to sack a food and do that, but if we're on... Actually, I think Witch could probably go. Only because if we can get that sticker and the Cauldron Familiar, we just go and do the thing all at once, and why do it incrementally? So we need one more. We're going to be adding, what, 1, 2, 4 creatures, so that'll put the count back up. Instance, mostly protection and removal and draw. Revive the Shire. I do like that it's target permanent. I'm also only on, like... Yeah, man, I mean, we could get rid of, like, the Signet. The Signet's probably the worst of them because it doesn't tap on its own, whereas everything else does. I think the Signet is probably the weakest link. That or maybe Springleaf, but I like Springleaf Drum because of the stupid tokens that we make that could just potentially add any color. Yeah, I think we'll put the Signet on considering. All right, that gets us our 6. So let's add these boys to the... Oop, not add one. Remove one. Add these to the main board. Alright, well, I definitely need to test this right now, because today and tomorrow is all we got, and then I got to submit. So, yeah, I don't hate this. We're back at 28 creatures. We're still at 22 spells, 17 artifacts. That didn't change. 30 lands. Feels good. Alright, so I'm going to cut the stream here temporarily because, as I say, I have to fuck around with my inputs. So... Thanks, guys, for watching. Those of you that are going to join in and play, I believe it was Ankh and Yami, most likely. I haven't seen Aaron pop in the chat at all, so I don't think he's around. But I will ping you guys to join a chat here in a second, and a spell table and all that, and we'll see you in a few.